A doomed passenger jet struck a bird before it skidded off a runway and exploded, leaving 179 people feared dead. Horrific scenes unfolded in South Korea early this morning when a Boeing 737-800's landing gear failed and the plane slammed into the tarmac at Muan International Airport. Only 2 people from the 181 passengers and crew have been rescued, and the jet was incinerated in a fireball. What caused the disaster remains a mystery, but footage showed the flight strike a bird as it came into land in the southwestern city of Muan. The pilot then made a mayday call and had to abort a landing attempt several minutes later. The undercarriage did not extend when the jet landed on the plane's second attempt, with the fuselage slamming into the runway. Why the plane's wheels did not drop after the right engine was struck by the bird remains a mystery. Footage showed the doomed flight's final moments as it skidded off the tarmac, hit an embankment, and exploded in a fireball. The packed jet, Jeju Air Flight 7C2216, was carrying 181 people from Bangkok, Thailand. Firefighters said 2 crew members had, miraculously, survived after being pulled from the tail of the plane. Some of those dead can't be identified as bodies are too badly burned. Weeping families have been seen gathered at the airport as South Korea comes to terms with its worst air disaster in 2 decades. The investigation into what exactly happened has now begun, with the black box being recovered from the wreck. Soldiers and emergency services could be seen combing the runway and surrounding fields to find clues for what caused the crash. Horrifying footage showed the jet landing on its belly without wheels. It skids off the runway as smoke pours out from underneath it before smashing into a wall and exploding in flames. Fire crews said the crash was so violent that the jet was almost completely destroyed. Passengers and crew were flung out of the plane on impact with the airport barrier and the explosion, leaving little chance of survival, the South Jeolla Fire Service said. A spokesperson for the fire service said, quote, "The plane is almost completely destroyed and identifying the deceased is proving difficult. The process is taking time as we locate and recover the remains." Most of the passengers were Koreans who were on a Christmas package holiday to Thailand. Muan International Airport is in Muan County, about 179 miles southwest of Seoul. The accident took place at 9:03 a.m. local time, just after midnight UK time on Sunday. Lee Jeong-hyun, chief of Muan Fire Station, said during a briefing, "The cause of the accident is presumed to be a bird strike combined with adverse weather conditions. However, the exact cause will be announced following a joint investigation." Low-cost carrier Jeju Air apologised, with officials bowing in front of cameras and vowing to do all they could to help. The airline said in a statement, quote, "We at Jeju Air will do everything in our power in response to this accident. We sincerely apologise for causing concern." On board the flight were 175 passengers and 6 crew. The head pilot had been in the role since 2019 and had more than 9,800 hours of flight experience, according to the airline. Lee Hyun-ji, a response team officer at the local fire department, said they had evacuated the 2 surviving crew members from the rear section of the jet. In the early stages of the investigation, the cause of why the undercarriage did not deploy remains a mystery. The pilot issued a mayday call 5 minutes before the landing and 1 minute after the bird strike. It is not clear why a bird strike would have affected the ability for the wheels to deploy. The official said it was unlikely the disaster had been caused by a short runway after the plane skidded off the end and hit a wall. They said, quote, "The runway is 2,800 meters long and similar-sized aircraft have been operating on it without issues." Boeing said that it was in touch with Jeju Air and stood, quote, "ready to support them." The fire agency said it had mobilized 32 fire engines and scores of firefighters to the scene. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok, who only took office on Friday, convened an emergency meeting with cabinet and headed to the disaster scene. He said, quote, "I believe no words of consolation would suffice for the bereaved families who have suffered this tragedy. The entire government is working closely together to manage the aftermath of the incident, dedicating all available resources while making every effort to ensure thorough support for the bereaved families."